Lane Tech Girls Volleyball is on the air at home for the first time this 2022 season, and their opponent comes from just a sidewalk away. Next door neighbor rivalry as Lane Tech takes on DePaul College Prep to kick off the home schedule for the champions this school year. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Alex Burstein above the court here at Lane Gymnasium for what should be a fun one this evening between Lane Tech and DePaul. We just had a thrilling three-set match between the JV teams for this one. DePaul gets the upper edge in that one. Now Lane Tech's going to hope to get some revenge on the varsity side of things here in the second game of the doubleheader. I think it's actually a triple or quadruple header. There were some games going on in Gym 2, a lot of volleyball action going on between Lane Tech and DePaul here on this Tuesday evening. We're getting started a little bit later. We anticipate about 9 or 10 minutes or to go until we have first serve here at Lane Gymnasium. As we mentioned, the first game did go 3 sets, went a little long, but nevertheless, we will soon have some very fun volleyball action coming up from here at Lane Gymnasium. And with that, we will take you down to the court where Lane Tech currently having some warm-up spikes and whatnot, as they will hope to have a hopefully dominating performance for them here this evening. But it's not going to come easy at all against this DePaul team, who comes in tonight with a 2-1 record. They haven't played much this year. They've had 2 pretty dominating wins against Lake Forest Academy and then against Regina earlier this season. They're actually coming off their first loss of the season, though. That came against Fenwick, a very strong team. They were close in the first set, went 25-22 in favor of the Friars, but then it fell 25-9 in the second set to lose their first match of the season. For Lane Tech, it's been an up and down start to the season. Head coach Nathan Kwong isn't worried at all about these early results. He still feels very confident in his team. Talking to him before the game, I'm not sure if I've ever talked to a Lane Tech coach who seems more confident in his team, and there's a lot of confident coaches here at Lane, but Kwong just really feels like he has a good recipe with the 15 players he has put on this roster here this year. And we will see what they can do at home here. As we mentioned, up and down record-wise, at least, for Lane Tech early on this year. They come in with a 3-5 record. They competed in a pretty competitive Wheaton North Invitational to start off the season. They had 7 games in 4 days to start off the year, actually. That was about 2 weeks ago already. They started off the season on a Wednesday, I believe, and then after that Wednesday, 7 matches in 4 games. Most of them were at that Wheaton North Invitational. They threw in a game against Loyola in there as well, and Niles North, so they were really jam-packing things at the start of the season. Then they had a little bit of a breather before opening up conference play a week ago tonight. That was a pretty dominating win against Brooks, 25-9, 25-13 for Lane Tech. So they have shown they can do some pretty good things with that win against Brooks. Lane Tech obviously is going to be hoping to have a strong performance this year in the city play. That starts off with conference play, but obviously the end goal is to take home that city title. Lane Tech with an upset loss last year to the Jones Eagles in the semis, so I'm sure that's on the mind of some of these players, especially their returners, who are hoping they can get back to the city championship game and maybe take home a city title. But first off, they are hoping to get some big non-conference wins starting off here tonight against DePaul College Prep. They're going to return to Chicago Public League play on Thursday, once again at home against Kennedy. And then they have a busy day on Saturday at the Layton Invitational. They have 5 games between 8:30 and 1 p.m., so a busy schedule this upcoming week. 8:30 a.m. and 1 p.m., I should say. They have a busy schedule coming up this weekend. Pretty good crowd showing on this Tuesday night. As you mentioned, first home action for Lane Tech this year. It's also their alumni night. They have a bunch of different nights honoring staff, alumni, a bunch of different things. Obviously, senior night tonight is going to be their alumni night, as we see DePaul College Prep taking the court now for their warm-ups. It's interesting. Usually we see one team wearing white, one team wearing the dark jerseys. Both teams are going to be in their dark jerseys here tonight. You see kind of a navy blue for DePaul, Lane Tech in their home green jerseys. So we will see both those jerseys on the court in a couple of minutes. But first, it's going to be 5 minutes and change of warm-up time here for the Rams. This is a very interesting Rams team. They have a lot of different components that it's just going to be very interesting to see how it plays out for them. They have some young stars, and really the two players I most have my eye on this evening is going to be the two sophomores on this squad, and that's coming in the form of Amira Boone, number 8, and Layla Christian, number 15. They're not the only sophomores on the team, but their coach Caroline Geisler was saying they have really been leading the offensive attack early on this season for the DePaul College Prep Rams, and for two players to be doing that just as sophomores, very, very impressive. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do against this more veteran Lane Tech team. 15 players split almost evenly, 7 and 8 between the juniors and the seniors. There's a lot of returning experience with this Lane Tech squad. Also some returning experience with this DePaul College Prep squad, but they do have those younger players, as we mentioned. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do against the rival here in Lane Tech. We do not have the starters yet for the Rams. We're hoping to get those soon. They said they were waiting to see if they were serving or receiving to start off. We do have an idea of what these starters are going to look like for Lane Tech as we reach about 4 minutes to go until first serve here. Thanks for joining us, Alex Burstein, on the call. So what it's probably going to look like for Lane Tech to start things off in the front row, it's going to be Amina Ahmad, the senior. Right next to her is going to be the star blocker for this team, leading the team in blocks, Brooke Anderson. She's the comes in as the tallest player this year for Lane Tech at 6 foot. And then next to Anderson on her right side is going to be number 22, Olivia Crane. In the back row on the left side for Lane Tech, it's going to be number 5, Claire Anderson. Coach Kwong hesitated to give a star for this team. However, if you look at the stats, it's pretty clear it has been Anderson early on this season. Her statistics are just kind of crazy to read off. She leads the team in kills per sets, hit percentage, digs, and kills. She's second in digs per set, serving aces, aces per set, and reception. So basically any statistical measure you are measuring, there's a good chance Claire Anderson's going to be very high up there for Lane Tech. She's just been very, very impressive for this team early on this year, and they're going to hope for another strong performance out of her tonight against DePaul College Prep, and they're going to need it. This is definitely going to be a back-and-forth matchup. The coaching staff for Lane acknowledged this is going to be a tough matchup, but a competitive matchup most likely. We saw in the JV game, it went for 3 sets. It was competitive, and these are just the slightly older players, but it should be just as competitive here in the varsity game. And then in our rounding out the starters for Lane Tech here in the back row, in the middle it's going to be number 16, Kinsey Copenhaver, who's also listed at 6 foot. I should say her and Anderson tied for the tallest height. So they have some height in the middle front and the middle back here for Lane Tech. And then in the back right corner, it's going to be number 10, Catherine Hong, who has really established herself as the server to watch for Lane Tech this season. She leads the team in serving aces, 13 so far through just 8 games played for Lane Tech. So she's been pretty impressive serving the ball so far this season, and we'll see what she can do here tonight. And then starting at libero for Lane Tech, this evening is going to be number 4, Heidi Stahlber, the senior defensive specialist / libero. So we'll see who actually gets to start depending on which Lane Tech is serving or receiving. But those are the 7 players we will first see on the court here tonight. However, do not be surprised to see a lot of substitutions here for Lane Tech. They mentioned it might go 3 sets. It's going to be a competitive match. And Coach Kwong mentioned there's probably going to be a lot of substitutions here for Lane Tech tonight. So it'll be interesting to see who else gets some playing time. Some players we are expecting to see just based on the brief substitutions the coaching staff was going for. It looks like Maddie Gavaldon's going to get in pretty early in this contest. Probably Sarah Thompson as well. And also likely, I guess those are the 2 I have listed right now. But, and Addie Stoner, number 19. Those 3 we should see come into the game pretty early. So do not be surprised to see some pretty quick substitutions for Lane Tech here this evening. We have just under a minute to go until starting lineups and first serve here for Lane Tech or DePaul College Prep. I know the captains were meeting at midcourt. I did not see who exactly they were. I'm not sure if they do a coin toss or what, but I'm not sure who elected to serve or receive. So we will see that in, I guess, 30 seconds along with the rest of the crowd here at Lane Gymnasium. Once again, a pretty decent crowd on hand. I guess you could call it a rivalry matchup. We have some students from both of these schools, Lane and DePaul, kind of getting to be bigger rivals over the last couple of years. Obviously, DePaul has always been close to Lane, but now they moved even closer, right next to Lane Tech's campus. So they're kind of natural rivals, even though they are not both in the same league. They are so close geographically that they're almost forced to be rivals. It's been a pretty mixed bag between these two teams recently. Last year was quite the year for Lane Tech and DePaul Volleyball. They played 3 separate times in a calendar year, not all in the same season, but you don't see that a lot when two teams are playing each other 3 times in a year. It started off with it ended with a loss for Lane Tech, 2-1 on September 25th of last year. However, the first 2 times they played last year, on September 11th and April 19th, they were both 2-0 wins for Lane Tech. So, as you mentioned, it has been back and forth early on these last couple of years between Lane Tech and DePaul, and we'll see who can get the upper hand. Since 2016, it's actually 4-3. The lead is to DePaul. So, if Lane Tech can get the win here tonight, we could see a 4-4 draw between these two teams. And, of course, as it happens, they will be playing again on Saturday at that Layton Invitational in the first game at 8:30 a.m., I believe. So these two teams are going to get very familiar with each other, very close, and we're going to see them once again as we're going to turn it over to the national anthem and be back in just a second. Well, not sure if you guys could hear that, but some technical difficulties here with the music at Lane Gymnasium. So they just went with the crowd singing the national anthem. That is definitely a first here at Lane Gymnasium for what I've experienced, but still cool nonetheless. And now it's going to be time for starting lineups, first with the visiting DePaul College Prep Rams. We did not get them ahead of time, so we're going to just see what they say on the loudspeaker PA announcer here tonight. I believe it's actually a Lane Tech alum. I did not get a name doing the PA announcing tonight for Alumni Night, so pretty cool. He was doing the JV game as well, so that's a cool little note here today. I think they're honoring the Lane Tech, some former Lane Tech players possibly here before the matchup. Always the mic a little hard to hear inside the gymnasium, but some cool festivities prior to first serve here, and now we'll get into the starting lineup first for the DePaul College Prep Rams. As we mentioned, they come into tonight's matchup with a 2-1 record. Going to try to see as they do it here, having some quite a little difficulty hearing the announcer here, and the players are not stepping out that far, so we might just get them as they step on the court, but we will have your starting lineups at some point for these two teams. As you mentioned, DePaul Prep dressed in their navy jerseys for tonight's matchup. Lane Sack in their in their home greens. That is the JV team standing in the white jerseys on the left side of the court right now. This is the same thing they did for the JV game. Pretty cool to see both the teams come out on the court prior to first serve. We're still not sure which team is going to be serving to open things up here, but we will see that momentarily, I guess, as they get ready to announce the starters here for Lane Sack. Lane Sack bringing out kind of a nice student section. You can probably see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen for tonight's contest as they're going through the starters. First going to be number 4, Heidi Stauber, the libero for tonight. Number 5, Claire Anderson, the star for this team, getting the start as well for Lane Sack. And they're going to go with number 10, Catherine Hong, who we mentioned has been the serving specialist early on this season for Lane. Number 12, Brooke Anderson, playing in that middle front position for Lane Sack so far this season. Right behind her is going to be number 16, Kinsey Copenhaver, the other 6-footer here for Lane Sack. And then it's going to be number 22, Olivia Crane, it looks like here. So a slight change from what we had before. And then finally, it's going to be number 25, Amina Ahmad. So those will be your starters tonight for Lane Sack. We've been talking about the 6-footers for Lane Sack, but there is some definite height on both sides of the ball here tonight. It's going to be 4 6-footers, 6+ footers, I should say, on the court for DePaul College Prep. That's some serious height for high school volleyball. Very impressive, and it's going to be interesting to see what DePaul can do with that here tonight. So the 4 heights players to watch out for the Rams are going to be number 3, Ava Wilson, who's a sophomore coming in at 6 foot. Then it's going to be number 14, Eleanor Palmer, a senior coming in at 6'3". Number 15, Layla Christian, a sophomore coming in at 6'1". And finally, number 17, Jessica Meyer, a 6-foot junior, as both the teams are going to take the court, and it is ready for some action at Lane Gymnasium for the first time this season. This is actually going to be the first varsity sporting event of the year here at Lane Gymnasium. We've seen some action at Lane Stadium. We've seen some away action for this team, but this is the first time we're going to have a sporting event for a varsity team inside Lane Gymnasium this season, so always fun for that. The first time of the year, and looks like serving here to start. We are still waiting for the ball to come out of the hands of the referee, but we will see that momentarily. Some keys to the game for both of these teams. For the DePaul College Prep Rams, they really just want to see if they can improve on their offensive consistency. Coach Geisler was saying they've had some strong play early on this season, but when they are out of system, they want to make sure they're making the right passes, making the right decisions, and if they can keep that consistency on offense, that's going to be very key for the Rams so far this season. For Coach Kwong, they're just enjoying what they have seen so far. As he said, they've had some tough matches, but he believes that his team has been in every single match so far this season. So the key for Lane Sack is just staying in it early. This is a team in DePaul that's very strong, has a chance to get out to an early lead here, but it's going to be important for Lane Sack to get some early points and stick with the Rams through the start of this first set, as both 6 players on the court here. It's going to be Lane Sack on the left side of the court. They'll be serving left to right, and DePaul College Prep on the right side of the court. Serving from right to left for tonight's contest. It's going to be about a 6:43 p.m. first serve here from Lane Gymnasium, and we're ready to go. Hong is going to be back for the serve to start things off here for Lane Sack as they kick off home play in the 2022 IHSA Girls Volleyball season. First serve. This one's going to head towards the back, but nice return here from the Rams. Rams get it over for the first time here tonight. Nice save there by Stauber. Pushing it over is going to be Ahmad, and they are going to say points is, I think they just called an official's time there. She did not point to who scored there, so we're just going to redo it. So there's an error there with the officiating to start off the match, and we will redo the first serve so we get a second chance at the first serve. You don't say that often, as Hong will serve once again to the back, and this one goes straight off the arms of Hudson, and Lane Sack's leader in aces gets her 14th ace of the season, and Lane Sack is off to a 1-0 lead here in the first set. Hong, another strong serve, and that's back-to-back aces, this time off the arms of Boone. These are some of the stronger players that that DePaul has, who are making some early errors here just because of how strong these serves are from Hong. And it's going to be a 2-0 early lead for Lane Sack. Serves again to the back row. Hudson controls it this time. They try to tip it over, and this one a little soft off the hands of Boone, and it's going to go to a 3-0 lead here for Lane Sack. This is just the start you want if you are Lane. Some very strong serving from Hong. She goes a little bit lighter on the serve this time. Hudson gets it across. This one goes outside. A nice eye there by Claire Anderson. That was just by a couple of inches. However, she takes the risk and it pays off. Lane Sack goes up 4-0 here now in the first set. Very good start here for Lane. This one hits the top of the net, but still playable for DePaul. Boone puts it over. Stauber now serves it to the back row. Trying for the first kill of the night, and that's going to be good for number 15, Layla Christian. The 6'1 sophomore was one of our players to watch there in the start of this game, as Christian's going to set out immediately after that kill. But the first kill of the night comes off the hands of the sophomore, and the Rams finally get on the board here, 5 points into the match. Mod serves this one right into the net, and a little bit of a run here for the Rams, capitalizing off of the first couple of errors we have seen from from Lane. Lane was playing perfect through those first couple of points. A few errors here from Lane Sack, and the Rams take advantage. This one served to the back row. Anderson gets some fingers on it. Ahmad now softly puts this one over the nets. And Boone sends this one into the net on the other side of things, and Lane Sack will get back on the scoreboard, and they'll have service once again. It'll be Maddie Gavelin, the senior defensive specialist, coming to the back row to serve. She's second in the serve rotation here this evening for Lane Sack. Sends this one back. A lot of these Lane Sack serves have really been going deep in the zone, as a block here. Right back into the DePaul zone by Claire Anderson. A very nice point there for Anderson and Lane as they take a 4-point lead once again here in the first set. Second serve by Gavelin goes a little far, and this one will be a service error on Lane Sack, and the Rams will get it back. We're going to see our second and third sub here. So we talked about Lane Sack was the ones who were likely going to be subbing a lot, but DePaul is going to be their third sub of the day already, and we're just 9 points into this one. As Stauber gets the quick return. Anderson on the outside. That one was going to go out, but instead trying to save it is Corkery, and the senior sends it out of bounds as Lane Sack wins the 7th of the first 10 points. Anderson's going to sub out here for Lane Sack, and now we're going to see the libero, Stauber, serve it for Lane. Gets it to the middle of the zone for the Rams. Boone tries to send it to the back row, but goes a little too far. DePaul has been able to get a lot of good play out of their sophomore Amira Boone so far this season, but some early errors from her have Lane Sack with the early lead here. As another deep serve here for Lane Sack. DePaul recovers well. Now Boone with a soft touch and a dig there by Erlenball. Longer rallies we've seen here today. Anderson sends it over, but DePaul keeps it in play. This one wide on the right side for Boone, and Lane Sack has opened up their largest lead of the day. They take a 9-3 lead here early in the first set. We said Lane Sack was going to need to stay in this one early, but why not just take control early, as Lane Sack takes the 9 of the first 12 points here, and Heidi Stauber is doing a very good job here on her service rotation. This one sent to the back row, trying for the kill, and a nice dig there by Stauber. She's doing everything on this side of the court, and they're going to say a Lane Tech player touched the net there. And finally, we'll see a service switch. It goes to DePaul, and the Rams are going to try to crawl back from this early 5-point deficit. Looks like it's going to be Eleanor Palmer serving there in the back here for the Rams. Still a lot of movement on and off the bench for DePaul early in this contest, as Anderson on the far side had a nice kill earlier in this one. This one will go a little too far, though. And a couple of quick points here for DePaul has cut this to a 4-point match early on. Have some feuding student sections here at Lane Gymnasium. Gavelden sets up the set. Copenhagen unable to get it over, though. And DePaul now on a 3-point run to cut this to a 3-point match. So it was all Lane Tech to start this one off, and now we're seeing DePaul slowly climb back into this one. Anderson goes for the soft touch. Long shot. This one's a little too far off of the hands of Maeve Hudson, the libero. And Lane Tech's going to get to the double-digit mark first. They take a 10-6 lead. Checking into the game for Catherine Hong is going to be number 20, Campbell Wild. She's third on the team in blocks so far this season. As we're going to see Addie Stoner back to serve for Lane Tech. An interesting shot there, hit the top of the net and then falls in just the right place. Ava Wilson, the sophomore, not sure if she meant to do that or not, but either way, she gets the job done to make it a quick run serving for Stoner. And now they'll try to turn this into some momentum. A deep serve, looked like that one was going out, but Stauber decides to play it instead. This one returns to the middle of the court for DePaul. Wilson, after having that nice almost kill last time, tried for the actual kill this time, can't get it, goes far off the end of the court for Lane, and they'll give it, and now that will extend the lead to 11-7, and we'll see Anderson back to serve for the first time tonight. It's a 6-person serve rotation for Lane Tech this evening, as Anderson's serve goes a little bit low. The final server we will see for Lane is going to be Kinsey Copenhagen, and then we'll go to the start for Lane. So we see a couple more substitutions. Looks like 2 more players coming in for DePaul. That's going to be number 17, Jessica Meyer. She was in the starting lineup. Now she comes back in, along with number 6, Maggie Edmonds, the 5'6" junior. Edmonds comes in for the serve. Trying to get this back to a 2-point game where it has not been in a while. Deep serve, Stauber on the return. Copenhagen tries for a quick kill, can't get it. Crane, nice block here from the DePaul defense. They've had a very strong front line here tonight. But Wild, right after subbing into the game, finds the open spot on the back left part of the court for DePaul. There is just no one in that area. And Lane Tech gets their serve back 12-8. And as we mentioned, this is going to be the end of their serving order. Kinsey Copenhagen serving from the back left corner. This one's a little bit short, so Lane Tech was very strong to start off the night with their serving. However, with Anderson and Copenhagen there, they have faults on their serves and gives 2 quick points here to the Rams, as Boone checks back into the game alongside number 4, Delaney Kelly, the 5'8" senior. Kelly's an interesting player, very strong at volleyball, but probably even stronger on the softball field for these Rams. As, speaking of Kelly, she hits this one into the net. Almost 3 straight service errors between these 2 squads, so the score has kept pretty even. It's going to be a 13-9 lead for Lane Tech here, about midway through this first set of play, and Catherine Hong, who started off the night with 2 straight aces, will try for something similar to that here. An excellent dig there by Stauber off the kill attempt from Boone, and they're going to say the point goes to DePaul. So someone must have hit the net there. They're going to call the net error, it looks like. It's a very strong kill attempt by Boone. Stauber got down there for the nice save, but they will end up a Rams point either way. And now Hudson's going to go back to serve here for the Rams. Rams finally hit the double-digit mark. Took them a little longer, but they're still into this game after some quick points here recently. This one goes straight off of the arms there of Sarah Thompson, the 5'4" defensive specialist for Lane Sack, and 2 straight points here for the Rams. We've seen a couple of short runs, nothing substantial yet for DePaul College Prep, as this one's going to sail far, and that's going to stay true here. I was going to say they'd love a 3 or 4 point run here to try to tie it up, but the second serve from Hudson goes a little far, and Lane Tech will go back up 14-11 as Maddie Gabaldon heads to the back to serve for the second time here tonight. As Anderson goes right over the net. A soft tap was all it needed. I think Boone was trying to come from the back for a kill there for DePaul College Prep. There was a little bit of miscommunication. They hit it too far, and it ends up being a point for Lane here as they get the 15-11 lead. Another soft touch, diving dig there by Stauber. Now just some back and forth play, and they're going to say point goes to Lane Sack. So they're going to call a net violation off of DePaul, and quite the start here today for Lane Sack as a timeout's going to be called by the Rams, a 1-minute timeout. So Lane Sack got off to that very hot start. 4 straight points off of the serve from number 10, Catherine Hong, who just continues to have such a strong start to the season for the junior. It stayed pretty steady with that Lane Tech momentum through the first couple of serves. Then we saw DePaul slowly climb their way back, but Lane Tech has done a good job of not allowing any runs too big, more than 2 or 3 points, and that is what has kept them with a 5-point lead early on in this first set. This first set is very big for these two teams, and I say that because between the two of them, they have played 11 games, 8 for Lane Tech, 3 for DePaul College Prep. The team who has won the first set in each 11 of those matches has gone on to win the match. 10 of them have been 2-set games. One of them did go to 3 sets. That was when Lane Tech took on Niles North. Lane won the first set, lost the second set, but won in the third to get the victory. So whoever wins the first set statistically has a much better chance of taking home the win here, as Gabaldon with her second serves sends it. Boone with the return. Now Hudson gets it across. Anderson tries for the quick tap, and what a play there by Anderson. She saw that the back was kind of crowded, tried for the soft tap, and it worked beautifully as she gets one of her first points of the night, and it's a 17-11 lead here for Lane Tech. Boone now tries for tap. This one goes straight to the arms of Stauber. Anderson on the far side, and quite the block there. Looked like it was a block off the hands of both number 14, Eleanor Palmer, and number 17, Jessica Meyer, as Meyer's going to sub out after this one for number 5, Katie Sittestad. And also coming into the game is going to be number 13, Maisie Erlenbaugh, the 5'10 sophomore. Another one of the sophomores on this team. Just such a young squad here for DePaul. As Anderson tries to redo at this one, another block attempt. I'm not sure if that one was off the arms of Erlenbaugh or if that one just went into the top of the net. Either way, though, it's going to be a point here for the Rams, who are once again trying to knock this one up, 17-13. Deep serve here goes off the arms of Stauber and will cut it down to a 3-point match. So nice little run coming up here for DePaul. This is going to be their 3rd straight point. They're trying for 4. Soft serve. This one to the back row. That one was heading out, but goes off the arms of Delaney Kelly instead. Would have been a close one. Looked like it was heading to go just beyond the playing surface and would have fallen for the Rams' 4th straight point. Instead, Lane Sack gets back in the scoring column, and now Heidi Stauber will come to the back line to serve. She had a nice serve rotation her first time around. We'll see what she can do this second time. Hahn gives it to Anderson. Anderson on the far side. Anderson had some success with that shot early on. She has not had as much success landing it these last couple of tries as Copenhagen gets it just over the net. Palmer is trying for the block, instead sends it into the Rams side of the net. And Lane Sack now finds themselves, it looks like just 6 points away. The scoreboard shows 18-15. I think it should be 19-14 here. We'll see if they change it. If not, we'll go back to 18-15. It looked like it was, it is Lane Sack point here. As officiating staff's going to have a quick word here with one of the DePaul players, and now they are going to switch the scoreboard here. So 19 points for Lane Sack. They find themselves just 6 points away from winning this first set. Would be a big first set win for Lane Sack. They've won one straight game. They had that big win against Brook last week, and this would be a big confidence booster getting a win against the Rams here on this Tuesday night. Second serve for Stauber. This one goes a little bit wide. So scoreboard is now showing 18-16. A little bit of confusion with the staff there running the scoreboard. So I guess we'll change it to what the scoreboard has right now, 18-16. With that, it would just be a 2-point lead for Lane Sack, which it has not been since I think Lane had 10 points. As Anderson sends this one to the deep right corner, can't get it to go. Another dig here by Stauber. Very impressive play from the libero, but this one sent a little too far off the hands of Wong. Good eyes there by the Rams defensive back line. And now we're going to cut it to just a 1-point game, 18-17, as DePaul has come crawling back. This is the closest it's been all match. Stauber sends it over. And the kill is going to just miss outside. Erlenbaugh almost had a very good point there for the Rams. However, it sails a little far wide and will go to 19-17 as Addie Stoner checks into the game alongside number 20, Campbell Wild. Stoner from the back row. This one hits the top of the net and unable to return it is Hudson. This goes off the hands of a couple of DePaul College Prep Rams. And Lane Sack gets to the 20-point mark. And looks like a timeout's going to be called here on the court. Another 1-minute one. So DePaul has definitely tightened this one up. Lane Sack looked like they were going to roll to that first set win. However, now it gets a little bit interesting as Lane Sack 5 points away from getting a big first set win. However, DePaul has been on a little bit of a run. It will be Lane Sack service out of this timeout. So that's definitely big. Lane Sack has had some success here early on, more success I should say, when they have been serving the volleyball. And we'll see what Addie Stoner can do from the back row here for Lane Sack. Also on the court for Lane, it's going to be Gavaldon, Stauber, Anderson, Copenhagen, and number 20, Campbell Wild. Your 6 on the court for Lane Sack. As DePaul comes back onto the court. Second serve here this round for Stoner. This one sent it back. Nice return there from Charlotte Collins. And a very nice kill there from number 3, Ava Wilson. She got in on the action earlier this set, then was quiet for the last 10 or 15 points, but comes back with some nice scoring there for the Rams, and they get back within 2 here late in set number 1. Back to serve for the Rams, going to be Palmer. as Anderson now working from the opposite side of the court. That's the first time we've seen her from the right side here today, as they're going to say net violation here by Erlenbaugh. And now we're just going back and forth, it seems like, between these two teams of who's serving and who's not. Anderson served right into the net her first try. She'll try to clean that up her second time serving for Lane. This time she gets it over the net. Tip here from Christian, and two squads with just a couple of soft hits here. Wilson trying for another kill. This one just gets inside. Lane Sack had a couple of players over there thinking it would sail out, but they say no, and it will be another point here for DePaul. Seems like Lane Sack goes up by 3. DePaul scores 1, it's 2, and then it just repeats. So if it keeps like this, just going back and forth, one serve, one serve, one serve between the two teams, Lane Sack will hypothetically win the set, but I'm sure they love a run here at the end, as Copenhagen with the soft touch over, but a nice dig by Hudson to keep it alive. This one to the back row. Misjudging it there was number 8, Sarah Thompson. Looked like it was flying out of bounds. She tried to get a hand on it, goes back, and now just a 1-point set here, 21-20 between Lane Sack and DePaul. Both teams have played much better here when they have been serving the ball, and Stauber with a little bit of an error there. I think she thought that was only the second hit for Lane, ended up being the third, and we're going to see a timeout called here by Lane, as we see DePaul tie it up for the first time here this afternoon. Lane Sack jumped out to a 4-0 lead, then they were dominating through the first 10 points. We saw DePaul slowly climb back, but Lane Sack never let the Rams actually tie it up. That changes here as DePaul ties it up 21-20, and I guess it's most important not how you start, but how you finish. And that's going to be how it ends here in the first set. Whoever can get to 4 points first here at the end of the first set. And this is something that head coach Caroline Geyser has really been honing in on with her team. She said they've just really been trying to take it one day as it comes, one match as it comes. I was asking her how important was it to start off with a couple of wins for this team, and she was like, it was important, but they're trying to kind of get past those wins and just stay in the moment, and that's what they've done, and they've climbed back into this set early on. Stoner sets it. Crane with the nice tap, and beautiful job there by Crane to get the point for Lane. A nice dig attempt there by Maggie Edmonds for DePaul College Prep. However, Lane Sack will get the point to go up 22-21, and Copenhagen will have a chance to give Lane Sack now a 2-point lead, which would be big late in this set. Crane on the far side, can't get it. Anderson now though with the quick tap, and she gets the points. We've seen some very soft taps here from Anderson earlier in the set. She goes for a slightly faster one there, and it results in a 2-point lead here for Lane late in set number 1. This one served just a little bit too far. Good eye there by DePaul as Copenhagen sails this one, and will go once again to a 1-point set here, 23-22 now. Couple of substitutions for the Rams as they try to keep up the momentum they had a couple of points ago. It was tied up at 21-21. Then Lane Sack scored a couple of straight to make it a 2-point game, but now the Rams back within 1. Stauber hits the return high, and now Crane's going to be forced to send it deep. As this one goes far off the hands of Layla Christian, and Lane Sack now finds themselves with set point here in set number 1. And who better to have serving with you to try to close out the set than number 10, Catherine Hong. She started off this set perfectly for Lane Sack, and now she's trying to end it. She had 2 aces to start off the evening. We'll see what she can do here. Off the hands of Hudson. Boone tries to send it softly over. Hong gets him hands on it. Now Anderson. Boone sends it deep. Excuse me, that was off the hands of Crane, and this one goes deep. So Lane Tech unable to seal the deal on set point number 1. We'll see if they can do it on their second set point here, 24-23, the lead for Lane. Crane now from the other side, and a block from number 8, Amira Boone. She had some airs earlier in the set, but I'm sure her teammates will be happy with that one. 24-24, DePaul ties it up, and we'll be going to at least 26 here in the first set. We knew this was going to be a competitive match, and this is just what we are getting here on the home opener for Lane Tech. Boone with the soft touch. And unable to save it there was Amina Ahmad. And DePaul has their first lead of the night. So 25-24, Lane Tech calls another timeout here in the first set. Lane Tech had a bunch of leads in this one, ranging from 4 to I think 6 or 7 points early on in this one. But DePaul comes climbing back. They tie it at 21. They tie it at 24. And now they have their first set point of the night. Lane Tech had 2 set points there at 24-22 and 24-23. If this does end up going in favor of the Rams, Lane Tech will really want those 2 points back, but we'll see what they can do defensively here late in the first set. It's going to be the libero, Maeve Hudson, who's had her moments here in the first set, back to serve for the Rams. And this one goes off the arms of Stauber, and the Rams take the first set. Quite the response there from DePaul College Prep. They fall behind early in the set, but end up taking the 26-24 set 1. And Lane Tech is going to have a hole to dig themselves out of. They drop the first set. We'll see how they respond in set number 2. We'll take a quick break and be back in a minute for set number 2 action. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lane Tech Girls Volleyball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Quite the exciting first set here from Lane Gymnasium. 26-24, the Rams take set number 1 here in the home opener for Lane Tech. They're looking to play spoilers as Lane Tech tries to get their second straight win, get within 1 game of 500. Lane Tech came into this one with a 3-5 record, but DePaul, they had the winning record in this one. They've shown that they can win games, and they showed that early on in this one. They fell behind early, but just some excellent switches this team made. They were making some early airs, a lot of balls straight into the net from some of their younger players, but they make adjustments as needed, and they end up getting the first set victory, and we will see if that can get adjusted here for Lane Tech in the second set, or if the Rams are going to run away with a 2-0 victory. In the most recent games between these two of them were 2-set games. Those were the first 2 of 2021 in April and early September. But in the most recent matchup, and that was a late September matchup in 2021, the second matchup between these 2 teams last season, it ended up being a 3-set thriller before the Rams took home the victory. So the Rams have the upper hand in this series, and they'll be trying to increase their recent success. We only have numbers back to 2016 in this series, but in it is a 4-3 series lead currently for the Rams. So they'll be looking to increase that lead to 5-3. Lane Tech, meanwhile, is hoping to even up the series at 4 matches apiece before these two teams play yet again just 4 days from now. That is going to be a Saturday morning matchup at Layton between Lane Tech and DePaul. Not a super busy matchup, super busy evening for Lane Tech's conference tonight. That's the Chicago Public Super. We have these two teams playing. Obviously, Jones playing at Evanston, and then the British International School of Chicago playing at Payton. All of those were 6 p.m. first serve, so probably wrapping up soon. I know this one started late. Not sure if the other two did. I was doing research. That was the first time I had ever heard of the British International School of Chicago, but the Grizzlies are hosting them, looking to get their second win of the season. It's going to definitely be an interesting year in the Chicago Public Super Conference when we get back into conference play. But back to our non-conference matchup here. DePaul starts things off with a serve here as Anderson tried for the quick touch, but 2 Rams there quickly for the block. On the other side of things, Anderson with a similar tip, and this one goes a little bit too far off the hands of number 1, Charlotte Collins, and Lane Tech's going to open this set up with a point. We saw what happened last time they opened up the set with a point, but you obviously would rather start with one than not, as Catherine Hong sends this one deep. That one was close to going out, but they decide to play it, and a nice block there off the hands of both Anderson and, actually both the Andersons, Claire Anderson and Brooke Anderson, both got a hand on that one. It looks like it will go down as a block, and Lane Tech off to a 2-0 lead here. Hong sends this one a little bit lower, and Wilson sends this one deep. Christian sends this one too far deep, and Lane Tech now off to a 3-0 lead. We said our players to watch were Boone and Christian in this matchup for DePaul College Prep, but we've seen some struggles out of the young players early on in this contest. They've had their moments, but definitely some veteran leadership as another point comes off the hands of Claire Anderson. Not quite the kill there, as there was an attempt to keep it alive by Maggie Edmonds for DePaul, but either way, it's going to be a 4-0 lead, and Lane Tech started the first set off very well with a 4-0 lead. They're doing it again here, as Catherine Hong on her 4th serve sends this one deep. We haven't seen any aces out of her this set, as Stauber with an excellent dig there, tried to get it over, and this one sent into the net. Looked like Olivia Crane had a better angle at that ball, but Stauber didn't see her behind her, and it ends up going for a DePaul Prep point, their first of the set, and we'll go to 4-1. Couple of substitutions, so no one back there currently to serve, but now coming in from the bench will be Catherine Corkery, the 5'4" senior coming in. This is her 4th year on varsity. She's been on varsity every single year of her varsity career. As Ahmad sends a booming shot there from the left-hand side. An excellent return there from Hudson, but DePaul can't get it fully over the net. And Lane Tech will now get back on the scoreboard, 5-1. So we'll see if Lane Tech can keep it up here, as going to the back row to serve is going to be number 8, Sarah Thompson, who was not in the serve rotation in that first set, but moves into it here in set number 2. So Lane Tech have the strong start similar to this one in the last set. Now we'll see if they can keep it up, as they're going to give the point to Lane Tech. Net violation there by the Rams, and a 5-point lead here for Lane to start off set number 2. Going to send Delaney Kelly into the game here for the Rams. She checks in for Amira Boone. Paul Prep trying to keep some energy here, and they'll get the serve back as this one sails wide off the hands of Thompson. We mentioned DePaul has that size advantage for players over 6 feet. Lane Tech with just 2 players like that, but they haven't used that much to their advantage here tonight. They've still had good variety of shots. As nice return here for the Rams, but in there for the block is Ahmad and Anderson. And Lane Tech goes back up 5 here, 7-2 in set number 2. Much quicker pace of play here in the second set as Heidi Stauber sends this one deep, and unable to control it is Kelly after just checking into the game, and we're going to see a timeout called here by DePaul College Prep, their first of the set, so they'll have a minute to talk things over. Lane Tech's been very reliant on their serves here through the first set and now the start of set number 2. Stauber's just been so impressive. She's been number 3 in the serve order. But when she has, I think 2 of the 3 times now, this is going to be the second time she has a decent run of serves here. They've been returnable for the most part, except that one wasn't really, but she's just had so much power on those serves that it's been difficult for the Rams to get any good looks at returns. As DePaul's going to break their huddle about 15 seconds early, only used about 45 seconds out of their first timeout of this set. As Stauber in her white libero jersey heads to back to serve. We'll see if she can do it again. And she can. Goes to the exact same player. Served that one directly into the hands of Delaney Kelly. This one wasn't as hard as that first one was, but Kelly unable to get a hold on that one. And they're going to sub her out of the game as Amira Boone comes into the game, the 5'10 sophomore star for this Rams squad. Boone with the soft touch, and the Rams finally able to get one of Stauber's serves fully returned as a nice tap there goes for the score. Eleanor Palmer finds herself in the right place at the right time, gets it over the net, and there was 3 Lane Tech players in that area, but no one perfectly situated to return it for the champions. And this is what we saw happen in the first set. DePaul started scoring 1 or 2 point runs, and then they finally were able to have a full comeback late in the first set as Ahmad with a beautiful kill there off the hands of Hudson. Just sent that one sailing to the back row. She had both Hudson and then directly behind her Corkery diving for this one. Goes off the hands of Hudson, and Lane Tech off to a 7-point lead here early in set number 2. Addie Stoner will head back to serve for Lane Tech. Lane Tech has definitely had the advantage on their serves here today. That's what's helped them get out to these early leads. As Boone sends this one to the back row, but Thompson's there in the right place. Unable to complete the kill there is Crane, and go to a 10-4 lead. Lane's had some good opportunities near the net, on the left and right sides. Perfect shots for outside hitters to try to spike it. They just have not had lots of success finishing those, either hitting the net, going a little too far, or having blocks by this tall front line for the Rams. As this one's sent far, Stauber gives it to Thompson, and now a long play somehow keeps it in there by Wild. Back row kill there, though, by number 14, Eleanor Palmer. She's by far been the most impressive player this second set for the Rams. She's really taken on a big role there on the front line. And DePaul's cut the lead for Lane Tech in half, now at 10-5 in set number 2. A very soft serve caught the Lane Tech defense off guards there. Number 1, Charlotte Collins. They had just no one patrolling there near the mid-court circle, and ends up being, I believe, the first ace of the day possibly by the Rams. I can't remember of any other ones they've had. As Copenhagen tries for the tap, and the Rams just able to get it over in 3. Crane goes for the soft one and gets it. Looked like she was going in for a spike there. Ends up going for the soft touch. I think the Rams players were surprised just like me, but it works in favor of Lane Tech, and they get back on the scoreboard, up by 5 here in set number 2. Gavaldon, not a super deep serve there. Hudson able to return it, but that ball goes soft off the hands of Collins to make it a second straight serve here now for Gavaldon. Looks like she moved order of where she's serving as she's going to likely have her second straight point here, barring a miracle from the Rams. And what a return there by DePaul, and it ends up being their points. It looked like it was just a bad ball off the arms of Maeve Hudson. There was a nice save there in the back, and then Hudson sends it back over. And we'll see if that can be the momentum booster DePaul needs to get back in this one. Anderson, far side. Far tap there, unable to find the ground. This one goes far off the arms of Gavaldon, and the kill there by number 16, Natalie Dabrowski, the 5'10 sophomore. We have not seen a lot out of her early on tonight, but she gets her first kill, and the Rams are going to cut to a 4-point lead here, 12-8 in set number 2. Stoner plays it off the net. Anderson going with a soft tap there once again, and that's going to be a double hit for Layla Christian. She had the right idea there. Lane Zach was kind of soft on that front line, but she's unable to get it over. And Lane Zach will get it back to 13-8, and Copenhagen will head to the back line to serve. Layla Christian, after an error a couple of points ago, responds perfectly by getting the kill here for DePaul. And teams are going to go back and forth with serves here for the second or third straight time. So we see a couple of subs check into the game in the form of number 17, Jessica Meyer, and number 6, Maggie Edmonds, the 5'6 junior, who's going to head back to serve here. Wild with the, I don't know what you would call that. It ends up being a kind of soft kill, I guess you'd say. Ends up going for the point, and Lane Sack, it seems like they've been able to keep this 5-point lead pretty steady. They've gone up by 1 or 2 more. They've gone down by 1 or 2 more, but this 5-point lead has been pretty steady throughout the second set. And now Catherine Hong will look to extend it. Seems like Lane almost always gets 2 or 3 points off of her serve. As that won't happen this time, Claire Anderson finds the net, and a nice job by the Rams to keep themselves from having to face Hong's serve more than once. That's a second timeout, I think 3 or 4 here today. Mira Boone's going to check into the game alongside number 9, Catherine Corkery, who's going to head to the back. And this one's going to be sent too far, as Lane Sack will get it back quickly. So DePaul has found their ways to have their serves. They just have not done a lot with them. We have not seen a lot of runs here by the Rams in the second set like we did see in the first one, as Sarah Thompson checks in to serve. So yeah, as we mentioned, Thompson was not in the serve order for the champions in the first set. She is here in set number 2. As Thompson gets a nice dig here. Ahmad trying for the kill, can't get it. Boone now sends it wide. Stauber there to keep it alive. Crame off the hands of a couple of Rams. And Boone finds a way to get it over. The Lane Tech front line jumped a little early there. And DePaul Prep gets the point. They had about 5 or 6 players between the two teams right there in the midcourt circle, but ends up being the Rams' point, and they'll cut it to a 4-point lead here, 15-11 in set number 2. Hudson serves from the back row. Boone with a booming kill attempt, can't get it. She's there for another attempt to score the point, can't get it either, and a nice job by Lane here to respond. This time they go with a soft touch off the hands of number 17, Jessica Meyer, but sent a little too far off the baseline, and Lane Sack Well, as we mentioned, keep it at that 5-point lead. That's just been consistent throughout the whole second set. It was kind of similar through the start of the first set before it kind of came crumbling down at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see if Lane Tech can keep this going here late in set 2 like they could not do in set number 1. Crane gets it over and the kill. Two of the tallest players there in Palmer and Meyer were there for the block, but she found the little bit of edge that was between them and the net for the points. And Lane Tech now up 6 as DePaul College Prep calls a timeout. Lane Tech student section enjoying that one. It's one of the better points we have seen out of Lane Tech here today, as they take an important 6-point lead, and it will be their serve out of this timeout. Two teams have not been hesitant to use their timeouts. Their coaching staffs wanting to have a word with their squads quite often. It's been more so for DePaul Prep with head coach Caroline Geisler. However, we have seen the couple of timeouts by Nathan Kwong and the coaching staff for Lane Tech. Once again, we're going to see DePaul break from their own timeout about 10 or 15 seconds early. We have not seen them use the entire minute, I don't think, at all here today. It's going to be Heidi Stauber, who we mentioned has had a couple of nice runs serving, back to serve here for Lane Tech. This one not greatly played off the hands there of Corkery. Sent it a little too far and to the left there of a couple of her teammates, and it will go for a Lane Tech point. And Lane Tech now with their biggest lead of the set, 7 here, up 18-11. Another good serve there by Stauber. Hudson able to get some hands on it though, as the dig there by Hong keeps it alive. Ahmad with the kill attempt. This one off the hands of Meyer, and Lane Tech up by 8. They're rolling here near the end of the second set as they try to knot this one up and look to force a decisive set number 3. We've seen the Rams sub a little bit less here in set number 2 of play, as this one a little too low off the hands of Meyer. She's had a roll in these last 2 points for Lane Tech, as Lane Tech now with a 9-point lead. This might be their biggest of the match so far. They're playing some of their best volleyball they have all match here. As Ahmad just misses. Lane Tech thought they had the point there. However, the line judge says it is a little too far to the right, and DePaul finally able to break up this run, and we'll see if they can kind of roll with it, as heading back to serve is going to be Katie Sitvestad. Frame unable to get the kill, and this one goes off the hands of Hong. A nice block there by a couple of the DePaul Prep blockers. And that's what we were saying. DePaul can try to use this momentum to kind of counter into this Lane Tech run. They have 2 straight points. We'll see what they can do here. Hong plays it high. Crane forced to play a deep pass. That one was misjudged there by Corkery. Nice dig there off the arms of Thompson. As a little bit of a rally establishing between these two teams, and Boone finishes with the kill. The sophomore coming alive here in set number 2, as that's 3 straight points here for the Rams, who have cut it to a 6-point lead here now for Lane Tech. Thompson plays it deep, and that's going to be yet another Rams point. We saw a meltdown by Lane Tech in the first set as the Rams were able to come back and take it. And it's looking very similar to what we saw in that first set here. 2015, a soft serve here. Crane tries for the touch to get it over. Boone now with another soft touch, but Hong's there to save it. Crane, a lot of soft hits of the ball to get over the net. This one goes a little too far. Stauber now pushes it over. This one goes wide. Thompson there to save it. Now Crane trying to finish the job she can't. longest rally we've seen here tonight. Boone sends this one wide, and Lane Tech back on the scoreboard, 21-15. Both the teams are playing it quite patient on that point. No one was going for anything too far. Boone thought she saw an opening there, but sends it a little too far, as we're going to see Stoner and Wild check into the game for Lane Tech, as Hong and Ahmad will find their seats on the bench as Stoner heads back to serve. Boone trying for another point attempt. This one plays a little soft though, and Lane Tech now 3 points away from tying this one up. We saw Lane Tech have 2 set points in the first set. They were unable to score on either one of them. They're looking to have a lot more set points if they can keep this going here. They just need 2 points to get it to set point for them and make it now just 1 point, as Dabrowski misjudges this one. Looked like she was looking to jump for that one, decided not to, and then since she didn't have the air, she just sent that one straight into the net. And Lane now 2 points away from knotting this one up. Kill attempt, this one is good from Eleanor Palmer. Seems like every 5 or 6 points you can almost definitively count on Eleanor Palmer having a really good kill there on the front row. She does it again here, and now we'll see Charlotte Collins head back to serve for the Rams. Played very strong in the season opener here and trying to have a strong performance here at the end of the second set. Hudson saved this one. Looked like it was going out, but decides to play it, and Wilson, seemed like the Lane Tech players were a little scared of the ball there. There are 4 players who kind of backed away from it. I'm assuming someone might have called for it and then backed off, and now just a 6-point lead for Lane, and another point here for the Rams. We've seen Lane Tech score 1 or 2 to get them closer to the set win, but then the Rams just keep clawing their way back with a couple of runs bigger to keep Lane Tech from closing this match out. As Crane here sends it to the back row. Nice save here for the Rams. Dabrowski sends this one back row. Thompson tried for the dig, but unable to get there in time is Stoner for the second hit. And we'll go to a 4-point lead now, 23-19. An excellent job here by the Rams trying to get back in this one. Stauber trying to decide how they play that shot, and Lane Tech ends up getting the point. They find the near side of the court open. I think DePaul was judging whether or not to play that one. They decide not to, and it ends up falling in. And now Lane Tech is going to have 5 match points. Excuse me, 4 match points to try to close this one out. They had 2 match points in set number 1. Were not able to do anything with it. Ended up being a 26-24 win for the Rams. Now they have a little more time with it as Maddie Gavaldon serves from the back. Wilson with the soft touch. Nice save there by Anderson. They're going to give the point there to the Rams. Not sure what the call was there, but the Rams get the point, and they are at the 20-point mark as they eye yet another comeback. It'll be Eleanor Palmer in the back row serving. This one goes kind of deep. Trying for the set win and getting it is Kinsey Copenhaver, and we have a thriller here at Lane Gymnasium. After blowing the first set, Lane Tech returns to get a 25-22 set victory, and it will be a decisive set number 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a second. You're watching Lane Tech Girls Volleyball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Well, this is just about as exciting as it could have gotten for the home opener for Lane Tech against a rival. We are heading to the third set to decide this one. Lane Tech has started off both sets very strong, and I can't even say that we can tell what's going to happen based off of the start of the set. Lane Tech has started strong both times, and DePaul has climbed back to at least make it a close set in both the first and second set. But a strong set number 2 would definitely be a strong start to set number 3 would definitely be helpful for Lane Tech as they remain in their huddle. About 2 minutes to go until we get set to play for this third set. So this is going to be by far the longest matchup of the season for the Rams. They've only played 3 matches, and all of them have gone 2 sets, and none of them have been like super close sets either. They won the second set against Lake Forest Academy 25-9. They won the second set against Regina 25-16, and they lost the second set to Fenwick 25-9. So they have not had any of these long set 2-set matches yet, and they have not had any 3-set matches yet. So that's going to be a change here in set number 3. And then for Lane Tech, this is going to be their second 3-set match of the year. They had one a little bit earlier this season, facing off against Niles North. They won the first one in dominant fashion, 25-12. They lost the second one, 23-25, but then they came back for a close set number 3 win over the Vikings, 25-22. So it would be a tail flipped, I guess, if Lane Tech's able to win this one, because they did lose that first set. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, between the 11 games matches these two teams have played, the winner of the first set has won every single one, so that would be advantage Rams. However, anything can happen here in high school sports, and that's what's going to be decided here as we enter set number 3 of play. It'll be Rams volleyball to start things off. Looks like back there the serve is going to be number 6, Maggie Edmonds. She had 2 aces against Regina and currently is one of the leaders in assists for this team. So she's shown she can be a really good team player and a really good server. See what she can do to start off this set number 3 for the Rams. Here we go. Stauber gets it to Hong. Anderson on the far side. We saw a point just like that from Crane in set number 2. It worked perfectly, just getting the ball right off the hands and sent down to the 2 DePaul Ram blockers. And Anderson gets the kill there as Lane Tech goes up 1-0 early. They've gone up 4-0 in both of the first 2 sets of play, as they're going to go up 2-0 here off the hands of Edmonds, who played that one. I think she was maybe trying for just a set there. Sent it a little too high and a little too far to the right, as Lane Tech now up 2-0. Hong serving again. Saw those 2 aces early from her. She had a nice run to start off the second set as well, as Anderson unable to get this one to the other side of the net, and the Rams will score. This is the earliest they've scored in any set yet so far this match, as Amina Boone checks into the game alongside number 9, Catherine Corkery. And no, looked like for a second we were going to have a third sub there, but no, it's just going to be Collins and Wilson checking out for those 2. As Corkery comes to the line here to serve. 11 digs on the season for Corkery entering here today. She was an AAU academic All-American, so she's had some nice stuff in the classroom and now on the court as she gets the point, and DePaul has tied this one up early in set number 3 at 2 apiece. Stauber with the dig. She's had a very impressive night here today as Ahmad finds the opening. That's the second point the Rams have had, the champions have had just like that. The Rams have been placing their block timing almost perfectly, but Lane Tech has just hit their shots very well, and it's resulted in a 3-2 early lead here. Thompson sends it to the back row. Boone now trying to push it over. She just gets it over, and Anderson will play it. Now Crane, a kill to the back. What a shot there from the senior Olivia Crane, and Lane Sack now back out to a 2-0 lead for this, to a 2-point lead for the second time this set. A booming shot there from the senior. That's what Lane Sack has kind of been missing on the outside a lot here today, as Hudson almost misplays it but a nice return, a nice recovery there from the Rams. Hudson all over the court here as the libero, and they're going to say net violation against the Rams, it looked like. Both the teams were not cheering there. I don't think they knew who it was against. The Rams were shrugging after that one, but it'll end up being a Lane Sack point, and they take a 5-2 lead here in set number 3. Thompson here back to serve once again. She's had a nice little run here the last couple of points. I believe 2 straight points for her serving-wise. As a misjudge there by number 15, Layla Christian. Looked like she tried for the kill, missed the ball, then tried again, but it was a little too late. And Lane now here with their more characteristic starts to the set. We saw DePaul have a couple of early points, but now Lane Sack has opened up a 4-point lead. Boone tries to return it. Anderson with the soft touch. A nice dig there by Edmonds. Unable to complete the point, though, is Boone. This one goes off the net, and Lane Sack finds himself up 7-2. Lane's been working quickly here in the third set, and they have the lead as Boone's going to check out of the game. Coming in to be number 4, Katie Sittisvet. We've seen some troubles with her receiving the serves here, but they won't serve this one to her. A little bit of back and forth play here at the net. Crane trying for another one, and that is perfect off of the body, it looked like. Not sure if that even hit the face of number 6, Maggie Edmonds. But Olivia Crane is on fire here on the left side of the court for Lane Sack, and the champions have opened up an 8-2 lead to start off this second half. Timeout's going to be called by the Rams. If you're a DePaul fan, I mean, you can't be too worried. You've seen your team come back every single set to be in it. However, you definitely would have liked to see a early lead in this quintessential set. And instead, it's going to be 8 of the first 10 points going to Lane. And in the back row, we should say, Sarah Thompson's been very impressive with her serves, and also Olivia Crane in this run has just been so impressive from that side. Lane has been going for a lot of soft touches, medium touches there from the corners of the net. But now in this final set, they're finally awakening with some hard kills from the side, and it's working excellent for them. 8-2, Thompson back to serve once again. I think this is going to be her 7th straight serve, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was 2-2, so here it goes. Meyer tried for the kill there, unable to get it. And now Stauber will return with the return. Holland gets it deep. Play there by Ahmad. Can't find an open spot, though. And this one played deep. Thompson decides to keep it in play. Back and forth play. We've seen a couple of long rallies from these two teams today, and this one will go off the fingertips of Crane and Anderson to go for a DePaul point. So Rams break up the 6-point run for Lane Sack, and we'll see if they can do anything with it. It'll be Maeve Hudson sending it to the back. She was named the player of the game in that last game against Fenwick. Even within the loss, she had some really good defense. So Hudson's been impressive as the libero this year. As Crane, another point score. This one off the hands of one of these DePaul prep blockers. A little bit different than her last 2 points, but Either way, it's going to be a point for Lane Sec, and Lane now 1 away from reaching the double-digit mark here in set number 2. Stauber back to serve here for Lane Sec. She's been very impressive serving here today. This one a soft touch and finds the open spot. Nice eye there by number 14, Eleanor Palmer, to limit the run Stauber has in the back there. And Meyer will check out of the game alongside number 6, Maggie Edmonds. Coming into the game will be Dabrowski, and back to serve, number 5, Katie Sitfestet, who's been in and out of the game. Crane. Now trying for the response, unable to get there is Palmer. Ahmad. Kill gets blocked there. They'll try again with Crane. Another block, but Lane Sec somehow keeps it alive both times. Now Ahmad again. This one sent to the back row. And DePaul decides to keep it alive. Finally, with the touches, Dabrowski. It was about 4 times that rally that looked like it might end up in a DePaul Prep Rams point. Lane Sec was somehow able to return it every single time. However, not on that final shot. And DePaul's now cut this to a 4-point set. As a little bit of miscommunication there between Dabrowski and Corkery. Not sure whose arms it eventually went off of. Might have been both of theirs actually, but either way it will end up being a Lane Sec point, and Lane Sec reaches the 10-point mark first for the third set. They have done that every single time, as Stoner's going to check into the game alongside number 3, Olivia Sprinkle. I think that's the first time we have seen Sprinkle check into the game so far this match. A junior. So it'll be Stoner serving here for Lane. This one sent to the back, couple of players there. And this one, nice kill there off the hands of Palmer, who, as he mentioned last set, she just has a knack for scoring every couple of points. I feel like we're just calling her name every few minutes. She's put together a good game here, and she's keeping these Rams within 4, 10-6 now in set number 2. Interesting to see Lane put a new player here in so late in the match, as Copenhagen unable to get the point, and this one put over softly by Dabrowski into an open area. No one able to get over to it for Lane, and now it's been cut to a 3-point game. So it was 9-2 just a couple of minutes ago, a 7-point lead for Lane Sec. That has evaporated to just 3 here now. Early in set number 3, as Crane shots get blocked by Ava Wilson. An excellent play there by the sophomore, perfectly timing her jump, and now a 2-point game. It was interesting. The JV game was very back and forth. We saw a very early lead established by DePaul, and Lane got it back, then DePaul got back, then Lane got back, and DePaul ended up finishing with the win. So we'll see if this varsity game proves to be the same, as finding the back is Olivia Sprinkle for her first points of the game. As Crane will check out for Gavelin, and Claire Anderson also comes in for Thompson. So a couple of positional switches here for Lane Sec. Gavelin in the back row for Lane Sec. 11-8 the score. 3-point lead for the champions. Couple of players. Stauber somehow gets it over, but just a little far wide, as the Rams will once again cut it to an 11-9 game. I could very well see this playing out, just back and forth serves between the two squads. We've seen a couple of points in this matches where it seems to have just gone back and forth between the two teams, and would not be surprised to see in such a close set 3 for it to be something like that here. As Anderson with the dig, punching it over is Copenhagen, but a diving stop there by Palmer. Anderson again, this one with a little more speed, but once again the Rams able to hold it. Now they'll give Sprinkle a shot. She can't get it in. Excellent job defensively here by the Rams on this point. Stauber pushes it over. And now they're going to try for the kill. And block. This one, it looked like it went off of Lane Tech's side. Looked like it went on DePaul's side. Must have come down on Lane Tech's side and then come over, because the point goes to the Rams. And now it's just a 1-point lead, 11-10 here in set number 3. Quite the run here for DePaul College Prep. Sprinkle with the kill to the back row. Unable to save that is number 5, Katie Sitvestad. And Lane Tech now back up 2. It would be definitely in Lane Tech's best interest to score 1 or 2 here, at least make it a 3-4 point game, because they've played much better here today when they have the lead versus when it's such a close match. As Hudson with the dig, trying for another point is Sitvestad. She can't get it. And Lane Tech now opens up the 3-point lead. Just what we were saying, if they can build a little bit of lead here, it's going to go a long way here in set number 3. 13-10, the lead for Lane Tech. Hudson plays the serve well. Wilson now sends this one to the back row. That one went right into the Lane Tech student section, who's very excited about that point. And Lane Tech should be excited about that one too. A 4-point lead now. Copenhaver back to serve again. This one played very softly. A diving save there by Collins. The Rams are able to recover though. Anderson hits this one right into the net, and that will end the little Lane Tech run we saw there, but it will go to Rams service and a 14-11 ball game as we see a couple subs into the game. Checking in number 17, Jessica Meyer, along with Edmonds there, who's back to serve. Stauber dives to save that one. She'll get her second hit on it and send it over. And another kill there by Layla Crichton. Lane Tech's blockers seem to be just standing a little too far from the net on those chances to have any chance of sending it right back, and that's led to a couple of DePaul Prep points here in set number 3. As Claire Anderson sends this one booming to the back. Collins had nothing she was able to do to save it. And an excellent point there by Lane, who's now 10 points away from victory in this one. Sprinkle's going to check out the contest along with Copenhaver as we see Ahmad and Hong check in. Lane's ace server will serve once again. This one goes a little far wide, and they say point goes to DePaul. It looked like one line judge was saying one thing, the other said the other. And they're going to give the point to the Rams, it looks like here. So they'll go 15-13. A good job by DePaul to avoid having to see too many serves from Hong here in set number 3. And instead, back to serve for them is going to be Corkery. Claire Anderson had the nicer turn, but ended up being Hong and Ahmad just looking at each other as we're not sure who was going to play that one. Ends up being neither of them, and now it's a 1-point game once again. That little run Lane Tech had slowly drifting away, 15-14. Stauber sends it over. That one almost hit one of the basketball hoops that's in the ceiling right now. An excellent dig there by Stauber. We'll see if they can get it over. Gabaldon plays this one just a little too short, though, and we're all knotted up at 15-15. A very exciting third set of action here at Lane Gymnasium in the home opener for Lane Tech. Corkery trying for her third straight point while serving. Ahmad gets it over for the champions. And an excellent kill there by number 15, Layla Christian. The sophomore coming alive here these last couple of points as the Rams have taken their first lead of the set. And I think this is their first lead before the 25-24 mark in the first set. So they've only had one lead this match until this. They've only had one lead so far this match until this point. This will be their second one as the Rams get a 16-15 lead as we near the 8 p.m. mark here in Roscoe Village here at Lane Gymnasium. Turn into a late night of volleyball as Lane Tech and DePaul both look for what would end up being a very hard-fought victory. Both these teams came into these matchups, the coaches at least said they didn't know too much about the other team, but they knew it was going to be a competitive matchup. A lot of these players know each other because these schools are so close and just playing club volleyball together, so definitely some friends playing against each other, but very competitive on the court, as you can see here through the first about 2.5 sets of play. It'll be Corkery back to serve. She's on a hot streak there, serving here for the Rams. Lane's trying to break up this run. Stauber decided to play it instead of letting it sail back. Would have been a close call there. Hudson trying for the tap is Christian. She can't get it. Claire Anderson now with the slight tap. This one gets over a couple of the blockers, but the Rams able to return it. Claire Anderson again. This one off the fingertips of Christian, and Lane Tech has tied it up. So after Layla Christian gives the lead for the Rams, the tying point ends up going off of her fingertips, and it'll be a 16-16 matchup here in set number 3. Thompson sends this one back, and it just misses the line. If that had been an inch or two closer, that would have been a near perfect serve there by Thompson, but ends up going quickly back to the Rams, who once again take the lead here. Hudson. It's a quick return here. Crane trying for the kill, can't get it. And this is the tied for the biggest lead we have seen so far today for the Rams. They were up 26-24 at the end of the first set, now up 18-16 here in set number 3. Crane, once again, this time gets it over the net and finds some empty ground to get Lane Tech back within 1. Copenhagen is going to check in for Anderson. Shaping out to be a nail-biting finish here at Lane Gymnasium. We have not seen many fans leave the building. This has been a fun one here today, as the Rams luckily able to get that one over the net. Crane sends this one, and they're going to say no deflection. It will go as a point to the Rams, who go back up by 2. Lane Tech players there were asking for deflection. That's what I saw, because the ball looked like it redirected there, but officiating staff will say no, and we'll go 19-17 now. Once again, a 2-point lead. This one served a little too far outside, and wow, that one just hit the edge of the court. This Lane Tech players not happy with these last couple of calls, and now DePaul has their biggest lead of the game, and in the most important part of it, up 20-17. This one hits the top of the net, perfectly placed there by Catherine Corkery. By Katie Sifestad. Just an excellent serve there, as the Rams have gone up by 4, and they are 4 points away from victory there. I highly doubt she was trying to graze the net like that, but the way it went, it just found the empty court after hitting the net, and it's going to be a 21-17 lead. Looked like the timeout there, I believe, was called by Lane. However, they're going to break the huddle very quickly. The timer started a little late, but it's going to be at 50 seconds, so they were in that huddle for just about 15 seconds or so. As the Rams attempt to close this one out, they have not really had to play with a lead at all today. We have not seen how they play when they have a lead, but I guess we'll get the chance to see that here late in set number 3. Their coaching staff still talking things over. On the court for Lane Tech, it will be Copenhagen, Hong, Ahmad, Stauber, Thompson, and Crane, your 6 for the champions. Back to serve once again for the Rams, number 5, Katie Sifestad. Didn't have a lot of notes on the sophomore, but she has proven to be very important here, especially late in this set number 3. Serve this one deep off the hands of Stauber. Ahmad able to keep it in play, and the libero will get it over for Lane Sack. Kill attempt, and that will be good by number 14, Eleanor Palmer. And now DePaul 3 points away from the win. They are closing this one out excellently. This is exactly what you want to see if you are the DePaul Prep coaching staff. As Crane just gets it over. Another attempt by Palmer, some play at the net. And the officiating staff will let it play. Another tip here by Copenhaver, and they'll keep it alive. Now the kill attempt, Crane. Excellent save there by Corkery. Boone on the other side of things, goes wide, and point Lane Sack. Lane gets back on the scoreboard when they need it most. DePaul still just 3 points away from the victory, but they cut it to within 4. Olivia Sprinkle and Addie Stoner will check into the game for Lane Sack. Catherine Hong and Amina Ahmad head out. Dabrowski, this one far, and Lane Sack now has 2 straight points. This is very interesting. We saw in sets 1 and sets 2 when Lane Sack had the late lead, DePaul started climbing back, did it successfully once, not successfully a second time, but it's a very similar story here. At least it looked like it was for a second there, as Stoner sends this one into the net. And now DePaul is going to be 2 points away from victory, 23-19 here. So Rams looking for 2 points to clinch this one. Lane Sack needs 4 to tie it, 6 to win. Back to serve, it'll be Collins, the junior. Soft serve, Sprinkle. Sends this one into the net, and trying to save this Crane. She can't get there in time, though. And this will be match point number 1 for the Rams. They're going to have 4 tries at it, as Charlotte Collins, the 5'5" junior, tries to close it out. Another soft serve. Copenhaver gets it above the net. This one falls, and the DePaul Prep Rams trailed early in set 1, set 2, and set 3, but they make the comeback in set 1. They make it in set 3, and they clinch the winner here, 25-19 in set number 3 over Lane Sack. A very impressive performance from both of these teams here, but Lane Sack just did not have what it had to close out the matches. That's definitely going to be something they want to work on heading into this one. Obviously, if you're DePaul, you want to work on starting off the sets a little bit better, but a win is a win, and a very impressive performance here for the DePaul Prep Rams on this Tuesday night. DePaul will be back in action on Wednesday at Trinity. That is a 6 p.m. first serve. Lane Sack will be back in action on Thursday as well. That is a home game against Kennedy. That is a conference matchup. Lane Sack should have the more upper hand in that one, but we will see how they respond to this heartbreaking loss to their next-door neighbor rival on this one. But quite a win for DePaul College Prep. They spoiled the home opener for Lane Sack. Some very impressive performances across the board for them. Lane Sack had some good serving. They had some runs. They started off the sets well, but they're just unable to close it here on this Tuesday night. As you mentioned, Lane will be back in action on Thursday, and we'll be back for that call against Kennedy in some Chicago Public League action. But that is just about all the time we have here tonight. Your final score from Lane Gymnasium: DePaul College Prep Rams 2 sets, Lane Tech Champions 1. My name's Alex Burstein. Good night.